Okay, let's take a look at the process of designing and printing a custom cookie cutter. I'm going to start off by going to our trusty search engine, and whatever inspires you, we will pull up truck silhouettes. Now, it is helpful to search silhouettes. That kind of like gets you pretty close to your design right off the bat. But we have to remember that we're going to want images, and we're going to want to make sure that our images are quite large. We're going to vectorize them, and I found that if you don't have a large high quality image, then you end up it ends up affecting your cookie cutter design quite a bit. You'd be surprised. I'm just going to click on this. I like this. This is sticking out quite a bit for a cookie. I can tuck that in a little bit. Other than that, I'll get rid of all the stuff on the inside, and it looks like it's going to be like a truck. So I'm just going to copy image address, and we'll paste and go. There's our full-size image. It looks big. It looks clean. And I'm just going to save that onto my desktop as truck. Okay, so now that's done. We've got our basic image. It's right over here. I'm going to pull up Illustrator, and I'm going to file new. And when I create a new file, I'm going to make sure that this is in millimeters, and that it's 120 millimeters wide and 120 millimeters high. And that's going to give you the right dimensions for, now this would be a very large cookie. I mean, it's probably usable, but it would be like the size of, you know, your whole palm. You know, generally speaking, if your design fits somewhere in here, it's going to be a good sized cookie cutter. Just file, save, and I'll save it as truck. So now I'm going to place that image in here, and I'm just going to basically like this, and you can see it is, you know, nice full-sized cookie. Maybe it's a little bit big. I'll bring it down. And remember, if you hold down the Shift key, it's going to keep it proportional. So maybe I want it to be a little bit sort of thicker instead of thinner over here. So there we have our image place. We're going to trace this. I'm just going to say make and expand. It's a black and white image, so it'd be pretty easy to convert this into a vector graphic. And I'm just going to make sure that I ungroup this, and then I have to start deleting some elements of this this design. The first is deleting this whole white sheet here. So now you can see that we have this white layer here. These are all little pieces that need to kind of be deleted. So I can delete that and get rid of that. And then I'm going to color these all black. So I'll select it, and we'll change the fill color to black because they're already in there, and then we're just going to merge everything. So I can grab this black and drop it in on all these pieces. The paths are still there at this moment. We're going to get rid of those paths. Okay, so you can see all those paths are still there. What I'm going to do is just select all of that, turn off that pink layer there, and select all of that. Go to my Pathfinder and merge everything. There we go. All those little pieces, sometimes you'll have to press merge, divide, and unite. Those types of things. Get rid of all those little chunkers. So now it's like a pretty clean model. We talked about tucking this in, and I'm just going to do that right now because as a cookie, it's probably going to be a bit much. Now we've got this, and I'm just going to turn off the fill here. So it's all filled. It's just one shape. It's filled in black. I'm just going to turn that off. So now that that's the cut line. That is the cookie that we would like to cut out. So what we actually have to do is we have to make the cutter, and we're going to do that by adding a stroke. And easiest way is to bring up our stroke window, and I find a stroke of 3 is going to give us the right thickness of cutter. So we'll drop a stroke of 3 on there, and then we have to, because again, the printer is just going to, it prints paths, and so that's going to print this line. We don't want it. We want it to print between here and here. So, or I would say the digital exchange file, the DXF that we're going to have to export. I'm going to go Object Expand and go like that, and now we can see that that we've got a path on the outside here, outside there. So that's our cutting line. Now we need some support, so that you're not pressing just on this thin piece of of frame. You want to have a little bit of a base to press on. So that's what we're gonna do right now. And if we go to Object, Path, Offset Path, 3 millimeter offset path works real nice. So I've already, I've made a few of these cookie cutters, so I'm just gonna say okay like that. And then the last part of our thing before we start to go to 3D, just grab all of this. And let's just make sure that we go Object, Group, and we just group everything that's inside there. And so we still have this path. Let's take a quick look at some other designs that I've done that have worked. We've got bunny rabbit over here. We've got a horse head. This one here is an example of one where we've got floating pieces. And so if we're going to do that one, again, I'm just going to go Window and Stroke, and I'm going to add that 3-point stroke. And so there's our 3-point stroke. I need to go Object, Expand. Okay, so then I'm going to go Object, Path, Offset Path, and I'm adding that 3 millimeter offset path, and I say OK. So you can see that this connected, and these floating pieces can't just float. They got to connect to the frame, and this is the frame here. So this is still floating, and so how are we going to connect that? Well, I'm just going to kind of manually do what we like that, move that across, and I don't want that to connect with this, to confuse that cutter. We're gonna sort of fix that piece there, and I'm just gonna again, this doesn't have to be, just gonna go like that, and then I'm gonna grab that and I'm gonna add those. Okay, so now that path goes all the way across there. This is a little bit weak, so oops. So I may just connect this like this. But remember, I can't let that one show through. Okay, so again, I've got this one. I'm just going to connect that. So we've got our base. This is this stuff here. Then we've got these little cutters that are kind of floating. These two floaters are just floating above the base. So again, so now we've got these two designs. I'm just going to save that one. I'm just going to call it 50. This is if you're going to do a 50th birthday party for your dad or your mom or something like that. Now we have to export these, and the format that we export them, I'm going to go File, Export, Export As, and we're going to export these as digital exchange files. Send that onto the desktop. There's our truck digital exchange file, and I'm going to come over here, and here's our 50 cookie cutter. I'm going to go File, Export as digital exchange file. I'm going to export that. Okay, so we can see that we have that there's our truck file, there's our truck Illustrator file. Here's our 50 Illustrator file. There's our truck DXF and our 50 DXF. So I'm going to launch SketchUp now. Let's go File, New from Template. And Plan View millimeters is probably what we want right there. We're going to want that 120 millimeter size. Now when it comes in here, most of you are new to SketchUp. If you click this, you can sort of move around and get a better sense of our 3D space. When we come in, this is quite large, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, and the way I'm doing it is I'm just scrolling with my mouse wheel. Grab my pencil tool here, and you'll get a better sense of the size here when you see down here the measurement, and it says 1 millimeter. Well, that's probably, I've zoomed in a little too much. Let me zoom out. And I'm just going to put 120 millimeters. That gives me a better sense. Okay, so there it is. I again just zoomed in and out with the scroll wheel. And then I'm going to do another 120. And then whenever I'm doing this, what I'm doing is I'm getting that line perpendicular. So I'm always making sure that that line is perpendicular with one of the axes. And then I'm typing in the length down here. So I'm not leaving anything to chance. I just go 120 and type it in. And then I'm just going to close this last point off. And so now I've got this closed plane here. And now we have a better sense of sort of this space that we're working in. And so I'm going to go File, Import, and I have these two DXFs. I'm going to import the truck. And so you can see the size is correct. Everything seems to be correct here. I'm just going to select it. And so notice I can select this plane here, but I can also select the truck. And that's where we have to use that move tool. I'm just going to get that truck in the center there. I don't know why, I just like it when it's centered like that. And now we're going to have to mesh this truck with this plane back here. So I'm going to take this truck, I'm going to go Edit, Component, Explode. And let's just see. So we've got some meshing going on, but it's not really. So I'm going to go Edit, Component, Explode again. Now let's see. Okay, so we've got a separation between this model and the plane here. So I should be able to press delete and delete these pieces. So I'm just selecting and deleting these pieces. Just select delete. If you want, you can actually press this eraser, and that will help you erase these lines. just like that. Now the rest of this is actually not separate enough yet. So because what we need to do is we need to be able to see each of these channels, just how I deleted that background. We need to get them all like that. So I'm just gonna go make group, edit group, explode. I'm gonna go edit. Oh, let's see, edit, make group, edit, explode. Now I've exploded it a few times. You can see now. This is my push-pull tool. You can see it's starting to be different pieces, and we want rivers. We want 1, 2, 3, 4. We want them all 4, and I don't know why, but it seems to take quite a while to get these to make group, edit, group 1, explode, and so now they're starting to separate. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Look at that. I just kind of redo it. Keep doing it, and eventually you get these 4 rivers. And so once we got that, then delete that, and our shape is starting to take hold. So I'm going to take this tool here, and I'm going to come in on the side, and I'm going to now set my depth. And so I'm going to grab this here, and my axis that goes up is blue, right? So I want to make sure that I have a line, and I'm just going to draw this as a reference. It's got to be blue on the blue axis, and I'm going to type 2. You can see it down in the corner, the right-hand corner. So that's a 2 millimeter height. And then this here, I'm also going to do blue axis, but I'm going to type 16. And then somewhere on the outside, and so this is basically my height for the cutter. This is my height for the base. So I can do another height for the base here. I'm just holding that. I just sort of drifted that up, and there's no clicking or anything after I've got that one point in. I just drift the mouse up and make sure I'm on the blue axis. I press type 2. Now at this point, we're just going to pull all the different things up, and it's important when we use a push-pull that we hold down the Alt key and you get that plus, okay? Because then what's going to happen is it will pull a solid shape up. So I'm going to 1, 2 millimeters, and I can't see that inside one. I just want to be able to see it. So now that second shape is that second little river there is separated. So I'm going to pull that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going all the way up to that 16. It was hard for me to see where that line was. I'll do that move one more time so you can. So I'm just going to position it so I can see that line. I grab my push pull, and I have to make sure that I hit that Alt. I go all the way up, right there. Okay. Then I'm going to do that last inside one, and the truth is it comes up by 1 millimeter increments. So and again, I got that plus symbol, so I'm going to go 1, 2. Now, the hardest part's done here, folks. We've got our cookie cutter made. It's pretty much ready to go. I do like to do a cleanup on the back side here, and the way I do that, just take that eraser. And unfortunately, all these lines being curves, there's just a million lines, so it doesn't erase away that easily. So I'll just fast forward this part of the video. Okay, so now you can see there's still some intersecting points, but the paths are pretty much gone. We have our cookie cutter. It's all designed in 3D. It's ready to go. So I will go File, Export 3D Model, and I will just say Object File. There's a whole bunch to choose from here. We'll just go Object File, and I'll call this Truck Cutter, and I'm just going to export that, and should go pretty smooth. Very quickly, I'm just going to show you what it looks like to do the other one, the 50. So that has a floating piece to it. So I like to go File, New from Template, and again, just sort of centering it basically where I like it. And then I'm going to have to do this whole exploding thing. So edit component explode, edit component explode, starting to separate, edit, make group, edit, oops. Grab this whole thing. I don't want to delete those edit, group explode. I don't want, okay, so we've got some pieces that are, so that we can delete, that we can delete, that we can delete. No, I don't want to, and that's nice, it's separate. These are still not quite separate, so I'll go edit, make group, edit, group explode, and I want all of these to be, I still want them all to be separate. So edit, make group, edit, explode. See how we're doing there. There's one. Oh, see, and that's doesn't quite have it the way. So I like that. We're going to delete that. So we're getting down to and I'm going to go edit, make group, edit, group explode. One. Still not selecting the way that, oh, that one's working. That one's not. So I'm just going to go edit, make group, edit, group explode. Bingo. I just keep going over it, and eventually, no, I'm not sure. So I'm actually just selecting a few pieces, edit, make group, edit, group, explode, seeing if I can get these to cooperate. Edit, make group, edit, group, explode. Okay, yeah, okay, so we finally got it. There's a lot of make group and exploding going on here. So at this point, I can move in like this, grab our piece here, and if I don't want to use those points, I can just sort of count up, and you can watch this distance here because it's in millimeters. I go 1, 2, I look down there, okay, that's 2 millimeters. Do this piece here, I'm going to go up to 16 millimeters. It says approximately 16, that's okay. And then I'm going to take this up 16 as well. oops, I made a mistake, and you'll see it. I did not press the Alt key in order for it to go positive, and so what happens is you get these hollow spaces, and so we don't want that. It actually becomes this long channel. We don't want that. So I'm just going to undo that. I'm going to make sure that I press the Alt key, 1, 2, Alt key, make sure you get that plus, otherwise the model's going to be messed up. 16 plus, hitting that Alt key, 2 millimeters plus, I'm going to come up, $16 and up. Oh, I did not hit the plus there. Let's just make sure that I did. 2 millimeters. So got the plus there. Make sure I get that plus. Okay. At this point, there's your cookie cutter. You got your frame so that it's nice and strong, and then it's just a matter of erasing these paths at the back so that it prints real nice. And there we have it. There's our 50 cookie cutter. I'm just going to File, Save As. I'm going to call it 50. And then I'm going to go File, Export, 3D Model, and I will export my object file. Okay, so now we're going to prepare our model for printing on the 3D printer. So that's the Ultimaker Cura. If you don't have a link to it down here, you can just go up to your search icon here and say Ultimaker, and you should be able to find that. So once this opens up, all we have to do is sort of find our model and drop it in. And I have a number of models on here. I'm just looking for the truck object. There's the truck OBJ. So that's object, truck cutter object. So once I get that, I drag that, I just drop it in here like this. And you can see that it dropped in nicely, but it's not really positioned the way we want it to position. A couple of different controls. If you hold down the control button and then with your mouse click and move, then you can reposition yourself here like this. If you hold down the shift button, then with your mouse you can click and hold and you can pan left and right. So that's a little bit of controls. If you use your scroll wheel, just your scroll wheel, then you'll zoom in, zoom out. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click this button right here, and this is going to help us position our shape. And we'll grab our red axis, and I'm just going to rotate it so that it's more flat. And just to make sure that it's perfectly flat, I will press this lay flat button here like that. Doesn't always, so let me just get rid of this. Just going to delete that. I'm just going to show you how sometimes it doesn't. If I drop this in here and I go to this, I'm going to select it. If I go to this button right away and I say lay flat, see that didn't work. Lay flat. I keep trying it. It keeps trying to lay it flat on something. Even this select face to align the plate. If I select, sorry, I'm just going to go like this. See, now it's done it upside down. And so my base is actually up top. We don't want that. We definitely do not want that. So that is why I prefer to, I'm just going to get rid of this again. drop that in there. That is why I prefer to click on, click the object, and then I'm just going to get this positioning tool going. I'm going to grab this red axis. I'm going to slide it so that it's close, and then I'm just going to press that lay flat, and that just makes sure that we're right on that that base there. It's going to print nice. So again, I'm just going to hold the control button, click and look around at my cutter. Looks like everything is good. And so at this point, I'm just going to click up here on the print options. And we don't need to be very, detailed. There's extra fine. There's fine. We can just print on normal. For our infill, we can do 80%. It's going to make it nice and solid. And we don't need any support or any adhesion. Nice and easy. And then I'm just going to press slice. At this point now, we have our file, and I can save that. And I'll just give it a name here. I'll say truck cut 3D, something like that. I'll press save, and there it is right there, truck cut 3D.gcode, G code. So from here, all I need to do is insert the SD card into the computer. You can see that the SD card just arrived right here. I drag this truck cut 3D G code into it, and then I can control click and eject, and then I'm just going to take that to the 3D printer and say print, and then wait my time, and should work no problem. So when you get to the 3D printer at the back, you'll turn the printer on, and then open up the cabinet, insert your SD card. With the circular button, scroll it until it gives you the option to print. Press the button, and then scroll again to find your file. Press again, and it will print out your cookie cutter.